What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Johnny Mack here. Just wanted to give you a heads up that if you are looking for a community that is open to discussion as far as mentorship, conservation, the wild, becoming a better person, and all of that, there is a group for you on Facebook, and it is called Soul Seekers. Soul Seekers, we are all about making ourselves a better person. We're all about making sure hunting lasts for generations to come and encouraging people to get plugged in. Whether you are someone who has something to give or someone who needs to soak it up like a sponge, this is a community for you, and I strongly encourage you that if you're on Facebook to join Soul Seekers, and if you're not on Facebook, hop on there just for that group. It is only going to be as powerful as we all make it. And so just remember that life happens for you, it doesn't happen to you, and that you can't outgive good. You can't outgive good, people. I want you to understand that, and I want you to believe it, because when we believe that and we lead with courage and we lead with intention, lives are changed, lives are transformed, just like on this podcast, transformation through primal adventure. Be blessed. Enjoy this episode. Talk soon. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Soulful Hunter Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Mack. Through this podcast, I'm on a mission to transform lives through primal adventure and to spread my mission of mentorship as conservation. This podcast is powered by Washington Backcountry, a resource for all hunters, both new and old. To find out more about Washington Backcountry, go to wabackcountry.com or search for Washington Backcountry on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The Soulful Hunter Podcast is also proudly presented by T&K Hunting Gear. If you haven't heard about T&K, then it's about time you do. I've been using T&K gear out in the field and on hunts and have fallen in love with their stuff. T&K is veteran-owned and 100% made in America using only American-made products. All their gear is covered under a lifetime warranty with no questions asked. If it breaks or fails, they will fix it or replace it for free. T&K is your resource for bino harnesses, bow slings, and a lot more amazing gear. For more information about T&K hunting gear, go to tnkhunting.com or search for them on Facebook and Instagram. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Freedom on and stay soulful. The Soulful Hunter Podcast is also proudly presented by the Crazy Elk Company. Based out of the state of Washington with products made in America, they are providing solutions with gear to problems you didn't even know you had. Their tag wallet is one of those solutions, and I had the pleasure of using it on all of my hunts this last year, and it is now a mainstay in my kill kit. The tag wallet is a water-resistant zippered pouch that comes with its own reusable zip ties to safely and securely store your notch tag for quick and easy access. For more information, go to crazyelkcompany.com and use the code SOULFUL with a capital S to save 20% at checkout. Be blessed, everyone, and as always, stay soulful. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Soulful Hunter Podcast. I got a wonderful episode for you today in the Soulful series, and it's something that has really been hitting home with me lately, and something that I identified within myself a couple years ago, and I've been working on it ever since, because if we don't continually work to get better, I believe that we're either getting better or we're getting worse, and there's no in between, because when we are in between, we naturally atrophy, which means we shrink, which means we withdraw, and that is a part of life. And so when we are talking about improving ourselves and diving into the soulful side of life and the soulful topics here on the Soulful Hunter, it's very important to reflect on how we show up in the world. Not only how we show up for others, but how do we show up for ourselves, and then how are we viewing the world? So this episode is all about rackets. Now, a lot of people, when you hear the term racket, you typically think of it as an implement that you swing to hit something with, like a pickleball racket or a tennis racket or whatever. We're not talking about those. We are talking about a racket, R-A-C-K-E-T, and by Webster's Merriam-Webster dictionary definition is: a racket is a confused, clattering noise, a social whirl or excitement, a fraudulent scheme, enterprise, or activity, a usually illegitimate enterprise made workable by bribery or intimidation, or an easy and lucrative means of livelihood or slang. Now, when we use it in a verb form, talk about how we engage in an active social life. The idea and the concept behind rackets is that we speak using rackets because we use it as filler words. The whole point of why I wanted to talk about rackets today is I wanted to talk about people need to, in today and age is more important now than ever. And I'm going to challenge you and I'm going to say, what do you stand for? What do you believe? What are you willing to take to the grave and say, this is what Johnny Mack stands for. This is what you stand for. This is what my family stands for. And we're not willing to waver on it. I've had a lot of conversations recently with a lot of different people. And when I have these conversations, I'll bring up words and I'll ask a question. However, if the definition of the word or the thing that we're talking about isn't the same definition between myself and this other person, then talking about that doesn't work. So, for example, if we're talking about freedom, you need to define what freedom means to you as an individual versus what does it mean to another person. Now, before you worry about other people, you need to identify yourself. So identify your core values and define what they mean to you. What does freedom mean to you? What does liberty mean to you? What does sovereignty mean to you? What does justice mean to you? What do you stand for? Do you truly stand for liberty? Do you truly stand for freedom? Do you truly stand as a sovereign individual? Is your yes a yes all the way through? Is your no a no all the way through? Or can you be shaken and moved and persuaded into different areas? Now, I am not giving you advice as to telling you what is right or wrong. What I am giving you is a perspective. Because so often we stand in one particular stance our entire life. And if you're looking at let's say, a picture on a wall, and you see this picture, and you've always viewed this picture from the same spot that you always look at it, do you know what's on the back side of that picture frame? Why not? It's still a part of that picture. It's still a part of that object, that item. And yet, your perspective is completely different if you look at it from the other side. For example, a diamond has multiple facets, and what makes that diamond beautiful is the different facets that are carved into it to let the light shine and radiate. Well, a diamond looks differently from different perspectives, or when you look at a diamond, it's nice to move it around to get a different perspective. Too often in life, we are so set in our ways and set in our mindset, and it's like, well, this is how it's always been done, so we're going to continue to do it. Or this is, the way I was taught to do it, and so we're going to do it this way. There is many ways to skin a cat, and there is many ways to grow as an individual. Are you a person that when you say yes, you mean it, and when you say no, you mean it? And then what does that mean? So we're coming up on, Independence Day, the 4th of July, the day in which American patriots said, no, we will not stand for this tyranny being put on us by the British government, and where we said that taxation without representation is unhealthy. And it's getting to be a little bit of that today. But before we even get to any sort of politics talk, we need to understand and define what these words mean to us as individuals. And then, are you using rackets to fill the void? Constantly, nowadays, it seems like people are going to other resources and leaning on other people to be the voice for them, rather than having a voice for yourself. Being your own voice, being able to articulate what you believe not only through word and through thought, but through speech. The power of the spoken word is one of the most powerful things that we have to give to this world. And yet, if our thoughts become our words and our words become our reality, if we're not speaking the truth, then the opposite of the truth is lies. So if we're speaking the truth, then we get to live the truth. If we are speaking a false reality about ourselves, our existence, how we show up in this world, how we view the world, and it's very important to reflect upon that and ask yourself, why are you doing this? I had a lovely conversation with the milkman today at out in front of my house, and we were talking about the way of the world, and he was like, "Yeah, I just don't really get it." And I asked him, I go, "Do you really not get it, or are you just saying that to fill the void?" This goes back to what a racket is. And he was like, "No, I do get it." I was like, "Okay, then let your yes be yes and your no be no. Don't be this person." And I say don't strongly because it affects everything's a ripple effect in this world. The minute a father doesn't stand firmly and articulate his values to his wife and to his children and his household, or any other person for that matter, is the minute that confusion sets in because you don't know where healthy boundaries and lines are drawn. So I always have this racket of I don't know. So like take it to hunting, for example. I don't know what's going on. Well, I do know what's going on. And then you make a plan of attack because this whole idea of us not knowing, you got to ask yourself, well, if you don't know, then why don't you know? And then are you searching for the answer? Why don't you know? No one's going to be able to deliver the information to you other than you going and finding it yourself. So are you going to be a holder of your own knowledge, or are you going to be a repeater of other external things and just an echo chamber of mainstream media, of the news, of, oh, I heard this on the radio, or I heard this on some show, or I heard it on a podcast, rather than taking information, going and reading, researching, experiencing things. Experiences are extremely powerful because they trump an opinion every single time. And ask yourself, why do you not know? Or are you just saying, I don't know, as a filler? Because if you do know, then are you too afraid to say what you really believe? And if you are too afraid to say what you really believe, then why are you not speaking up? Why are you not speaking up? Because in this world, the minute that we silence ourselves is a minute that we allow whatever loudest, squeakiest wheel to get the grease. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, but inaction is action. Not speaking is speaking. You may not realize it, you may not want to draw attention to yourselves, but the minute that you are not speaking is the minute that you are canceling yourself out already. Already canceling yourself out. Think about that for a second. What other rackets do you say in conversation that aren't true? What other things do you do in your life that you just throw in fillers rather than actually identifying how powerful of a statement that you're making? I'm searching right now for a quote that I love. This is from Pastor Martin Niemöller, a Jew, or no, not a Jew. I forget exactly who exactly he was, but he lived during World War II, during the time in which the Jews were taken into internment camps. Here's his quote. "First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak, because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there's no one left to speak." See, The concept that I want to get out for all of you today and for you to chew on is you need to identify your core values and what they mean to you now, today. You need to build your house on a strong, firm foundation, because when you build your house on sand, it's gonna come and go with the tide. Build it on a rock. Identify who you are and what you stand for and what you will and will not stand for. And use your voice. Use your voice. There are people out in this world that are not speaking, that need to be, and that we want to hear from you. And it also goes into this idea of self-worth. A lot of people are like, oh, well, and this is a racket. Well, I'm not worthy enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not as good of a talker as you, or I'm not as knowledgeable as you. Well, stop comparing yourself and get out there and start taking action. See, this racket of I'm not good enough, I don't know, I'm not worthy, I'm not smart enough, I'm not. See, this goes back to last week's podcast where I talk about your thoughts become your words become your reality. The minute that you think you're not worthy is the minute that you become not worthy. And you're doing damage not only to yourself, you're doing it to the society. Society wants to hear from you. You are a special individual. You are beautiful. You are made in the image of God. So where are you going to start taking a stand in what you believe in? And it's okay to disagree with people. It's okay to have differing opinions, differing perspectives. So it makes this world beautiful. I will tell you this, though, do not impart your will on me, as I will not impart my will on you. And if you don't like what I'm saying, think about why you don't like what I'm saying. I'm just telling you words. I'm just doing a podcast that's things that are on my heart, my mind, and I'm sharing it with the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change. Being the change starts with identifying what you stand for, what you want. Be the change, meaning let your yes be yes and your no be no. Don't sell yourself short with I don't knows and I'm not good enough and I can't do it or I'm not smart enough and all this other junk. If you are made in the image of God, which is what I believe in, that we are all made in the image of God, then we are made beautifully and perfectly and wonderfully made. And we have not because we ask not. We have not because we don't put in the effort, the work, the time. Prioritize your life. You want to be a great dad, a great husband, a great father, a great warrior, a great speaker, a great influencer, whatever it is, then put your energy into that. Practice it. Just like it takes work to strengthen a muscle, it takes work to use your voice. It takes work to know where you stand. And it starts with you. Every day, I wake up and I go through this routine of, Lord, thank you so much for returning my soul back to my body. And then I go into prayer. And with that, I also do my affirmations of, I am loved. I am safe. I am courageous. I am a powerful, inspiring, loving leader. And I know that I want to get better at speaking. I know that I want to get better at writing. And so I speak it out as if it's already happened. I am articulate. I am a great writer. I am a great speaker. I am. And stop saying, I don't know or I'm not. I don't know or I'm not is not going to change the world for the better. And the minute that you show up to be your true, authentic self is the minute that this world says, give me more, because I love who you are. Don't take your talents, don't take your gifts and hide them. Multiply them, give them to the world. Be the best version of yourself. And the minute you do, the change is going to happen. It's going to happen instantly. First with yourself, then with your household, then with wherever you go, then in your community, and start speaking what you believe in and stop being so fearful and afraid. If you want this world to be a certain way, then stand up, take action, use your voice. Not all of us are blessed with the physical attributes to be able to physically stand. All of us can at least use the voice that we were given. And if you don't have the voice to speak, then use other outlets. Be blessed, be of good cheer. Know that this world is happening for you, not to you. And every moment that you've been like, oh man, I wish I would have spoke up, or I wish I would have said something, or I wish this, I wish that, is no longer an opportunity wasted. It is an opportunity to remind you about now you get to be who you really want to be. Now you get to stand in your own power, in your own sovereignty, and know that you will let your yes be yes and your no be no. Think about that, chew on it, let me know what you think. Guys, I just want to encourage you to always continue on working on bettering yourself. This life is not a grind, and I hate that word. I hate that concept of life is a grind, because a grind means it's not a thriving scenario, and this life happens for me, not to me, and it's all an opportunity to better myself and to strengthen myself and to strengthen my resolve in what I believe. And when you identify your core values and you define what they mean to you, is the minute that you get to speak articulately about what they are and share them with the world, so that you can leave your mark on this world and know that you did your part into leaving and creating this world a better place than how you found it. I'm Johnny Mack, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Also, if you have not I totally messed up on that. I apologize. Go check out Soul Seekers, my show I just launched on Carbon TV. You can go to carbontv.com, or you can download it on your smartphones. You can do, I think, Google Chromecast, Roku, and a couple other devices. You can download the app. It's all free. I'd love for you to go check out Soul Seekers. It is my experiences that I'm sharing with the world, and there is just a lot of fun to be had. At the end of the day, I want you to know that life happens for you, not to you. Be blessed, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Freedom on. And as always, stay soulful. If you enjoyed today's podcast, I'd love it if you could go ahead and give this a rating as well as subscribe. Also, you can check us out on Instagram under the Soulful Hunter Podcast. Make sure to tag us in pictures and posts and use the hashtag Soulful Hunter. To find out more about the Soulful Hunter Podcast, go to soulfulhunter.com and be sure to follow the podcast, as we are going to be bringing you a lot of great information, insight, and changing lives through primal adventure. I look forward to connecting with you on the next episode. Stay tuned and stay soulful.